heartily welcome from our side. My name is Victor Kotler, and I have the pleasure to have Laurent Wenner with me, which is consultant system engineer from Fortinet. And we hope that we will have an interesting session. As you know, the agenda is like follows. Before we start with the agenda, I have just some information generally that we ask you to put any questions via the FAQ, not via chat. So we will from time to time try to answer the questions. And if you have something, we have no voice for you, or you are not looking for raise your hand, so please use the FAQ. So the agenda, as we have mentioned and invited, is about FortiCloud solutions with main focus on differences between the sub-account based versus organizational unit based FortiCloud flavors with the EAM, some background infos, and also what is currently and future plans. We will have a short break. I hope that's enough because we have quite a lot of stories to tell you. And Laurent will take us also through some use cases, live demo. And for the beginning, I have a short introduction. Before I start with that, maybe some words from Laurent, so he can just shortly give some backgrounds about his function and his, let's say, CV inside Fortinet. Laurent, if I can ask you, maybe give us just some words.
So thank you very much to all of you for attending. So I'm working for Fortinet since 3 years and a half. I'm playing the role of CSE, so it's a consultant, and in our team we are dedicated on central management and monitoring. We are pre-sales consultant working with our sales engineer or system engineers, the SEs, and we are working mostly on central management, FortiManager, analyzing and reporting, so FAS, FortiAnalyzer, and then we are covering also some part of the FortiCloud Services, which is why we are here today to work together.
Perfect, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to have you here in Switzerland. What I would like to start with is some introduction regarding the expectations we have put into this session. I hope the attendees will also maybe find themselves as well in these requests. What we are looking forward today is, of course, some kind of best practice around the FortiCloud solutions, with, of course, the focus of account management. So what is the difference between sub-account versus the EAM organizational unit flavor? I mean, we have for sure from time to time new partners joining the Fortinet community, so it would be nice to hear about what are the onboarding recommendations for new resellers, partners. But of course, the most of you are long-term partners with many connected sub-accounts, maybe even using the organizational unit flavor. So as well, if there is some kind of good or the best practice, we are looking forward to hear from Laurent what are the suggestions. What we also have discovered is that Fortinet has discontinued the multi-tenancy on the sub-account flavor. So people using the sub-account flavor, they are somewhere politely forced to move towards the organizational unit flavor with the premium account. We will hear some words about this from Laurent. Of course, MSSP, where we have a mixture of owned versus operated by assets, what is there maybe to highlight. And last but not least, some additional ideas about services which can be done on the legacy way with normal SKUs and renewals and call terms versus the possibilities to use FortiFelx points, where you can buy points to assign them to devices to have the services. And last but not least, also the Fortinet Zero Trust provisioning. How is this related to the FortiCloud sub-accounts and EAM users? Further topic which we are looking forward is, of course, the entire SaaS management, FortiGate Cloud positioning versus FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer Cloud. So one question is, what is the difference between FortiGate Cloud, where in the flavor of the free version versus the subscription version? We have to highlight some important changes. There is also a new premium portal for the FortiGate Cloud, so that we are looking for what's new. And last but not least, some ideas about FortiManager Cloud principles and migrations. And so stay tuned what Laurent will tell us about these topics and what can be answered. For the beginning, I would just shortly show you that, of course, behind all these FortiCloud services, there are still the, let's say, normal bundles we have, the ATP, the UTP, and the enterprise bundle we already know. Some of you will remember that there was this so-called SMB bundle, which is now just as a la carte service as a FortiGate Cloud available. So this was removed by end of 2000 or mid of 2023. But you can still, if you have SMB bundle customers, buy the UTP bundle or any kind of bundle you would like to use with the a la carte services and add the FortiGate Cloud service, the SKU I will show you in the next slide. Some of you have maybe used the 360 protection bundle, which have been removed beginning of 22. This means there is still the FortiManager Cloud, there is still the FortiAnalyzer Cloud available, but it's not anymore in a bundle, but the one is only as a central top-up SKU, not anymore to buy with the device. But the FortiAnalyzer Cloud still has a flavor where you can have it with or without SOC as a service a la carte. This is still available. But we have seen that there was a must-use FortiCloud Premium SKU for the Manager and Analyzer Cloud. This is not anymore required since Q3 that was removed, but we see still a strong need for multi-tenancy in the combination with FortiCloud organizations, that the FortiCloud Premium account license makes sense. There are some other ways how we can get this function. You will hear from Laurent as well. Further informations are on our BOLL sales blog, and I will hand out the slides after our finishing this session. We will send a follow-up email. The session is also recorded, and therefore you will get the slides as well as the record links. And of course, you can have then a look for these links inside. A little side note, which is quite important, as you have maybe recognized that there are some asterisks around some a la carte services. And as we know, the desktop entry-level models, which have 2 gig RAM, they have some, let's say, changes in the functionality. The proxy functions which are highlighted are removed with the small 2 gig models. So if you need proxy functions, please watch out for 70 and higher models, or look for the new G series with 2 gig and more. Just as a remark, you will find more information on the document library regarding the proxy functionality. I don't want to stress you too much about this. So this is my last entry slide. What I would like just to summarize is that we have this so-called FortiGate Cloud, which was in the SMB bundle packaged, but now it's just an a la carte. You can combine it with any flavor, not just the UTP bundle. So you still find this a la carte service, which is depending, of course, of the FortiGate and different SKU. This is an example for the 60F. We have the FortiAnalyzer Cloud. This in fact, a new SKU which was added per Q3 22 without the SOC as a service. So you don't have to take the SOC as a service, but of course, we still recommend the FortiAnalyzer Cloud flavor with SOC as a service. You will see in the description that it is mentioned as SOC as a service, not really highlighting the FortiAnalyzer Cloud, but in the background, if you need it, there is still an opt-in function that you can use even with the SOC as a service SKU, the FortiAnalyzer functionality in the cloud. One thing which we will also see in relation to FortiDeploy zero-touch provisioning, it's quite important. You can still register your products individually, but if you have dozens or hundreds of products, it makes sense that before we order it at Fortinet for a project, we add the so-called Fortinet deploy SKU, which is something around 100 Swiss francs. The big advantage is if we add this to the purchase order, you get one key, one registration key, where all the dozens or hundreds of serial numbers from FortiGates, switches, and access points will then use with one key, and then you have them to your hand for the zero-touch provisioning on your hand in the FortiCloud. Still, the FortiCloud Premium makes sense to buy this license if you are heading for certain specific services like FortiSandbox in the cloud or FortiSOC as a FortiSOAR, sorry, in the cloud. There is mandatory. And for other services like FortiAnalyzer or FortiManager Cloud, you do not need it anymore. But since multi-tenancy is a part of the organizational unit, this premium account license is still something which is quite reasonable to look at. And last but not least, if you hitting some, let's say, limitations of the FortiAnalyzer daily log limits, just as to remember, the desktop 2 numbered FortiGates and 1 CPU VMs have 200 meg per day log volume as a daily limit. The mid-range 3 numbered FortiGates have 1 gig, and the higher 4 numbered FortiGates and I would say 4 CPU and higher VMs, they have 5 gig logs on a device level. And if this is not enough, Fortinet provides the so-called top-up SKUs, which can be bought as 550 or 500 gig add-on to the cloud account. So this is something which is quite reasonable if you have a higher volume to log. So this would be, in fact, a short introduction, give you a little overview about some relevant services. And I would say I hand over now the session to Laurent, who can take over the screen.
So the goal of today is about seeing the main feature and use case of FortiCloud. So first, let's have an overview about FortiCloud and what's behind this name. So FortiCloud, it's an umbrella of multiple portal services. So there are over 40 cloud portal services. And so if we look at the screenshot below here, so we have the main one, which is the asset management, to manage the asset, and we have many more. So the asset management, it's what we all use daily to register our devices and their licenses. And then most of the Fortinet product have been hosted, cloud hosted by Fortinet, so we can recognize the cloud, many of the cloud management solutions of Fortinet, such as FortiGate Cloud, FortiManager Cloud. We have on the right most of the Fortinet cloud services. So it could be FortiMail, FortiEMS, so SOC as a service as well. So basically, most of the Fortinet product have been hosted on the Fortinet cloud, and they are all available under the FortiCloud portal. So once we access to any of the FortiCloud portal services, we can jump between each FortiCloud portal. Then if we look at the benefits of having this umbrella of services under this FortiCloud service, so it's a generic name for all the services. So it means that if, for example, you access to the asset management, you will authenticate to FortiCloud portal with your FortiCloud account. And by being authenticated with your FortiCloud account, you can then switch to different services of FortiCloud. So you could be switching to from the asset management to FortiGate Cloud or to FortiMail or some others. And the initial authentication you provided to FortiCloud will be used with a single sign-on and seamless access over the different FortiCloud portals. So here we can see this user management with Manage IAM. So we can delegate access to the FortiCloud services by creating some users as IAM users. So we see how it's working. We have this word of secure resilient with MFA. So it means that whatever access we'll be using for FortiCloud, accessing with a FortiCloud account, so basically some email account which is registered to FortiCloud, will be required to provide some MFA, multi-factor authentication. And same if I'm delegating access of my asset and FortiCloud service to some IAM user. So let's be careful about the wording and the naming. So an IAM user will be a way to delegate some access to my FortiCloud asset and services. So this one as well, this IAM user, which I will be defining, will be requested to use some MFA token to finalize the authentication. And whatever way I will use to log into the FortiCloud services, using a FortiCloud account with an email or some IAM user which I will have defined before, I will have single sign-on, and I will access to the FortiCloud services and I won't have to re-authenticate. We have this we have this FortiCloud Premium account. So the FortiCloud Premium account, so it's the master account, the one which is having the permissions to everything. But let's move forward and we'll see more. Oh, yes, we have zero touch provisioning as well. We'll have some word about it. So it's going to be ZTP. The idea will be that we can onboard some factory setting devices and push some settings to them with ZTP, zero touch provisioning. So before being very specific, we can concentrate on a few key services of FortiCloud. And the idea behind is that it's going to be key services for managing the assets and delegating access to those assets. So the first one that we all use, it's the asset management. The asset management is one we use to register some new assets, new devices, and add license contract to them. So once we have the asset registered, here we can register them manually one by one, or if we go if we have a bulk key because we went for some FortiDeploy SKU, so we can have all the assets added in one time with FortiDeploy. So whatever way we go, if we add the asset one by one, or if we do a bulk import of the asset with FortiDeploy with a bulk key, so then by using FortiZTP, we can see all the assets registered on the FortiCloud account. And then for them, so it's going to be for the FortiGate, FortiSwitches, and FortiAP, we can define what is their central management solution. So we could be defining some specific FortiManager for some devices and some FortiGate Cloud for some others, as an example. So it's one of the key services of FortiCloud. Obviously, FortiZTP is free, and it's going to be a way to push some central management settings to your fresh devices, which the greenfield devices. Since we have some FortiCloud account, which is the one where you add your assets and your licenses, you can delegate access to your asset and services by creating some IAM users. So that's why this one is key, and it's a free service as well. So when you add IAM users, they will be delegating access to your FortiCloud account assets and services. And you can also, so if you use FortiCloud IAM portal, it will mean that the users you are creating will be managed on the FortiCloud IAM portal. But you can use some external SAML identity provider, such as that your delegated users to grant them access to some asset and services may be hosted on some external SAML identity server, such as some Azure directory, for example. And one of the last key service, so it's the organization. So there is nothing required about the organization. It's a recent way to manage delegation of permissions and asset access. So with the organization, the goal is to have some multi-tenancy architecture so that you can be some MSSP, a partner, or even a big company. And into that big company, you have more than one FortiCloud account. And you can group together all those FortiCloud accounts under an organization. And then the idea will be that your IAM users may be granted management to different FortiCloud accounts. So those IAM users, if you are going for the organization model and feature, they can be granted access to a specific FortiCloud account, which means they can manage specific assets and specific FortiCloud services. So if we think the main difficulty, it's about managing the asset and managing the services associated to this asset, and how can I delegate access to my asset and my services. So it's we have some existing technical possibilities since many years back, and so we can look at the legacy way to delegate access to the asset and the FortiCloud services. So it's even before this IAM way of working was existing. So here, if we look at the top above, we have so we can see the FortiCloud customer account. So let's say it's my FortiCloud account, Laurent at my company whatever. So my FortiCloud account, it's a place where I will register my asset and services. And then one of the way for me to delegate access to my asset and services is the sub-account. So what I can do when I'm logged on my FortiCloud account, I can access to the managed user property of my FortiCloud account, and under the manage user menu, I can add what we call sub-account. So I can add other FortiCloud account by using their email, and for each of those which I will be adding, I can specify which assets they can manage from me, and I can specify a few limited set of permissions. So I can say that sub-account 01 can access to my support ticket. He can create additional sub-account, but he cannot, but sub-account 02 cannot manage my tickets and cannot create users. And for each of these sub-accounts, I can specify some targeted FortiGate. So sub-account 01 could be managing all my Fortinet asset, while sub-account 02 could have a limited access to my assets. So it's I will be myself as a customer, I will be adding my partner or my MSSP, and then my MSSP, when he's going to access to FortiCloud with his own FortiCloud account, he can switch between his asset and my asset. So I'm delegating a view of my asset and my FortiCloud services to some external partner by using this sub-account mechanism. So it's a screenshot. So what do we have here? Here I'm logged as a customer, myself as the customer. I want to delegate, I want to grant this FortiCloud account, which we have below, which is 059 something. So this 059 FortiCloud account is delegated access to my asset, to some of my asset, and to my FortiCloud services. So here, if we look at the screenshot, 059 FortiCloud account can access to those four Fortinet assets, so FG, VM, something, and so on. So whenever 059 account will log on FortiCloud, is going to be able to manage those four assets that we see below. And we can choose between full asset access, full access, or limit access. And we can decide the few actions this one can do in the asset management. So such as contacting customer service, creating additional sub-account users, so and then getting technical assistance. So we don't have much. Hopefully we can modify that whenever we need some changes. And it will mean that now 059 FortiCloud account is logged on FortiCloud, and he can get access to his asset, but he can switch to get access to my asset. So here, if I'm selecting the top master user with this orange label, it's me, my asset as 059 account. If I'm selecting the one below, 1 to 4, and so on, so I'm going to manage the asset of the customer who granted me access. So if I switch back, I can manage the asset of this customer here in the screenshot. So finally, if many customers were giving me access by declaring me as a managed user, so when I will log as a partner on my FortiCloud account, I can have the list of all the customers who granted me access, and I can switch to each of them by selecting the one I want to manage when I land in, or I can use this, when I click on myself, I can use this switch account so as to switch between each customer who granted me access. And then the asset which will be presented will be the one of the customer I selected. It's a free feature, the sub-account, so it's very convenient, and I can get access to the FortiCloud services of the customer who was adding me as a sub-account. So I can manage the devices, I can manage the support ticket, depending on the permissions I'm allowing, and I can access to the FortiCloud services of the customer because I was added as a sub-user account. So after that, we have another way to work, but this one is dedicated to the FortiCloud account, which are defined as a partner. So if your FortiCloud account has been flagged as a Fortinet partner, so you can have this GUI menu, which is called the Partner Connected Account. And what is happening is that this partner is logging to his own FortiCloud account, and he is recognized as a partner. Because he's a partner, he can add his customers. The customers can approve being added. And at the end, so here it's a screenshot where the partner is adding his customer FortiCloud account. And when the partner will be logged to FortiCloud, if he's switching to this tab of partner connected account, he can select each of his customers, and the actions are more limited. So the goal of this is only so you can manage the asset of your customer whenever you are a partner, and you can also open support ticket, but you don't have access to FortiCloud services. So it's another approach. We have different features, different mechanism, because those features were added along the way. So that's why finally the different way to delegate access to some FortiCloud account asset and services is different. Some new features were added along the way, and they can coexist together. But this partner connected account, it's only existing when you are flagged as a customer, as a partner account for your FortiCloud account. So it's not for everyone. So me, as a Fortinet employee, I don't have the possibility to have this partner connected account mechanism. So this was the old way to do, where the customer was adding his integrator or partner or MSSP or distributor. So the end user is adding the one who can manage his asset and have access to his FortiCloud services by adding a sub-account user. And there is a new way, which is the modern way. So it's like everything in life, you have pros and cons. So this new way is much more flexible, but you may see that as more complex. So it's called IAM, so Identity and Access Management. So IAM, you can see that one when you log on your FortiCloud portal, and you have this under Services, Asset and Account, you have IAM. So let's move forward. So this time it's not anymore some FortiCloud account which is adding you as the one who can get access to your asset. It's it means that this time the customer will have to go to his IAM, and then from this from his IAM he will add you as a new user. So he will delegate access to his assets to you by creating a new user in his IAM database. So here this customer was creating IAM user 1 and IAM user 2. What we call the master user, it's the email account which is owning the so it's the email account which is owning the FortiCloud account. So that one has access to everything. And this master user has been adding IAM user 1, which has access to some specific asset folder, and he's given some permission profile. So by defining different permissions profile, you can define exactly which FortiCloud services you may use or not use. So permission profile is not giving access to FortiGate Cloud, but you get access to asset management, FortiCare support, and IAM, while permission profile 2 gives you only access to FortiGate Cloud. And if we look below in the asset folder information or parameter, so IAM user was given access to all the asset folder, while IAM user 2 was given access to only a specific asset folder. So here you have more granularity, because according to each IAM user, you give them different group of devices by assigning them different asset folders, but you give them some different access to the FortiCloud portals. So it's more granular, but it's another way to go, because regarding the way to log in, it will mean that you will if you want to manage your customer assets, you will not log as your FortiCloud account, but you will have to log in to FortiCloud as an IAM user, which was created before for you by the customer. So if you have 20 customers to manage, it will mean that you will need to ask to your 20 customers to create you IAM user, and you will have to log 20 times differently to manage each customer. So it doesn't scale up so much when you have multiple customers to manage. But the beauty of IAM is that you have a huge granularity regarding the portals that you allow or deny, and whatever you can do in those portals. So IAM is a good approach, but we need to find a way to scale up when you as a partner or MSSP, you want to manage multiple FortiCloud account of your customers. So here it's an example. We have some IAM users. They may belong to some IAM user group. By assigning an IAM user group to a user, it's a quick way to assign some permission profile and asset folder. This IAM user can be an API user. So it means that whenever you define API users, they can be used to make API calls to any of the FortiCloud services. So then for the API user, you can use the permission profile to define which FortiCloud service the API user can access to. If we have some external SAML identity server, it can be defined by the FortiCloud team, so that you don't use anymore the FortiCloud IAM user database, but you can use your own users defined into some external identity provider. You have no choice, but you are required to use MFA. But now MFA usage has been extended, and you can use, regarding MFA, which is enforced after every login, you can use emails, one-time token password sent by emails, which is the default one, but MFA can be sent as an SMS, or you can use FortiToken, so you have much more flexibility. So here it's an example where we have one main FortiCloud account. So let's say it's a customer FortiCloud account, and that customer, it has a master user, so it's the email which has access to everything. But this one has defined IAM users, and for each of the IAM user, it has so he has been he gave different permissions. Those permissions are permission profile, which are defining what you can do, and asset folder. And you can, if you want to use IAM groups, by assigning an IAM group, you will assign at the same time an asset folder permitted and some permission profile. So if we compare the sub-account versus IAM user model, so the beauty of IAM user is that you have a better granularity to define which portal you may access or not. Whereas with legacy sub-account, which is still existing, you can access to every FortiCloud portal. But if you plan to do some API calls as well, you have to go for IAM and define some IAM API user. Also, you have, so we said you have much more granularity for the permissions, but also for the devices you want to manage. With a sub-account, we have seen that you can specify each single device that the user can manage, that the sub-account can manage, but you have no device group. With IAM user, you can define some asset folders, so you can organize your asset into asset folders, and for each IAM user, you can specify which asset folder is allowed, is permitted. So you have more flexibility with IAM user, but it becomes painful. As I said, I will show you after, if you want to use IAM and you have 20 customers, so later on, we'll see that the organization can be something super useful. And it's just a slide to say that those IAM users that you use to delegate or grant permissions to additional users, basically, by default, they are defined as IAM users into FortiCloud portals. So we can see FortiCloud IAM portal as a database of users, but you can go for some external identity provider by sending your SAML IDP server details to the FortiCloud team, and then you will be given an external URL to access, to authenticate, and this way your IAM users won't be anymore managed by FortiCloud IAM portal, but it will be managed by your outside SAML identity server. And the two can coexist together, some FortiCloud IAM users defined on FortiCloud portal and some external users defined on your Azure or whatever external SAML identity server. So now let's talk about multi-tenancy. So let's say you have multiple customers and you want to get access to manage their asset and get access to their FortiCloud services. We have seen that for that, before having this multi-tenancy feature with the organization, we had to use the sub-account, and each customer was adding you the partner as a sub-account. So it was super easy. With one single access, you could to your FortiCloud account, you could switch to every customer, but it's not very granular because the customer cannot prevent you to access to any of the FortiCloud portal. So we have what is called the organization, and whatever I spoke about before, it's still existing, and there is nothing required or mandatory to go for the organization. But let's have a deeper look at the organization. So when do we need to use the organization? The organization, it's useful when we want some multi-tenancy structure, and it means that if we have multiple FortiCloud accounts, then we can use the organization, because in the organization, we will invite all the FortiCloud accounts to belong to the same organization. And after that, once all the FortiCloud accounts are part of some organization, we will define some delegated access to some or all of those FortiCloud accounts. So here, we have customer one. Customer one has its own email and so its own FortiCloud account with its own assets and FortiCloud services. So now we have customer two, the same. Customer two has his own FortiCloud account, customer 3 and 4, and so on. So if we invite all of them to the same organization by defining some IAM users, so all of those four, they belong to the same organization, but we can delegate permissions to different permissions to each IAM user. So here, IAM user one has access to the full organization and can manage the assets and services from all the customers belonging to the organization. Here, customer two has access to the branch OU1 and just to customer one. So IAM user 2 has so IAM user 4 has just access to customer 1, while IAM user 2 has access to customer 1 and customer 2. And then IAM user 3 has access to customer 1 and 2, but maybe he's going to be a partial admin by having just access to the asset management. So by inviting my FortiCloud account, so my customers 1, 2, 3, 4 to my organization, I can classify them under different branches of my organization, and then the IAM user model ported to the organization, my IAM users can be given some access scope to different branches of my organization with different permission profiles. So here one more IAM user. So it's the OU, and so OU1 it's here and OU2 it's here. So the last one, IAM user 05, has access to OU branch 2, so this one below, and then he was just given access to customer 4 of this branch. So since we have placed our FortiCloud account in different branches, the IAM users coming on top will be granted access to specific branch and specific customers, if we wish, of those branches. And the permission profile will define what they can do for those FortiCloud accounts. So here we can see red and green check marks according to what the permission profile is allowing or not. So that way we can cover multiple scenarios because we could be a distributor managing the support ticket and the asset of his partners and customers. We could be a reseller just managing managing a specific assets. We could be an MSSP or some end customer. What we have to keep in mind is that the organization, it becomes to be useful when we, so I have some more examples. So the organization, it's useful when you have multiple FortiCloud accounts that you want to group together or to invite together to the same organization. And once your multiple FortiCloud accounts are invited and belong to the organization, you can add IAM users and delegate permissions for each IAM user to different customers with different permissions profile. So if we look at a few names for the vocabulary, a FortiCloud account, it's an email which is registered to Fortinet FortiCloud portal. And that FortiCloud account, it's a placeholder. It's the one which is registering the asset, which is owning the asset. A master user, it's a primary user account. So if we have a single FortiCloud account, it's the FortiCloud account which created the access. If we have an organization, the primary user will be the root user of the organization. A sub-user, so it's a sub-user account. It's when some customer is adding your FortiCloud account as a sub-user account, and then you get access to their FortiCloud services and their asset. A permission profile will define what an IAM user can do. So which FortiCloud portal this IAM user can access. And also for the IAM user, you can give the IAM user access to some asset folder if it's a local IAM user, or if that IAM user is created under an organization, this IAM user can be given access to some specific level of branch of your organization. That's why we can distinguish permission profile and IAM users for a flat level without any organization or for the organization. So the organization feature, it's targeted for enterprise customer. Am I back?
Now it's okay.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. So the organizations, it becomes useful when the assets, your managed devices, they are defined into different FortiCloud accounts. If your assets are all managed by the same FortiCloud account, you don't care for the organization, you don't need it. But when the assets are defined under more than one FortiCloud account, then you can go for the organization model. Okay, so here we have an example, an organization example. So let's say someone created the organization with his own FortiCloud account, and this MSSP admin has defined a few branches, branch OU1, OU2, OU2_1. So then each FortiCloud account can be invited to a specific branch, and the idea is that the master, the IAM users that we can see on the right part of the screen, they can be granted access to a different level. So maybe some IAM user 1 will be granted access to OU1, and IAM user 2_1 will be given access to the branch OU2_1. So then, since we can place all the FortiCloud accounts in different branches of the organization, after that, on top, we add the IAM users and we specify what the IAM user can access. So here we have a screenshot of the dashboard of the IAM user, and we have been defining IAM user 1. That one, it's an organization user, so it means that the permission scope of this IAM user 1 will be high-tech companies, Europe branch, and Chartwell Holding. So this IAM user 1 can manage the assets and services of every FortiCloud account, which is under the Chartwell Holding, on my example. So the way to go for the different steps to follow for the organization. So first, you need to have this paid feature or SKU of FortiCloud Premium. So when you purchase FortiCloud Premium license, then you can create an organization. And inside that organization, you can create the branches or the structures that you wish. And after that, you can invite your customer or partner FortiCloud accounts. So you will create a token, an invitation token for them. You will send them this invitation token so that they can join the organization and use this token. Once they have joined the organization, their access is pending, so you will accept their incoming access, and then they are part of the organization. So a warning about the organization is that once as a customer that you belong to an organization, you have all your assets which are seen and manageable under the organization. So it means that you give the keys of your house, of your different assets and services to the guys who are managing the organization. And it's up to the organization admin to define IAM users and restrict or grant access to the FortiCloud accounts and to their assets. So you give the full trust of your asset management and services to the organization. And you cannot leave the organization once you have been invited and accepted. You cannot leave it unless the organization admin is removing you from the organization. So it's something very good to know. So I will maybe I will stop the slide and show you before speaking too much a quick demo about the sub account and the organization, so you can see the way it works. So if I'm sharing.
Laurent, just a short question from the
Oh,
audience
yes,
regarding
it's
the
a good
IDP.
time. Yeah.
Can you just shortly mute your headphone? Just a
Oh,
second.
yes, excuse me. Yes.
So what we got from the audience regarding the IDP role, which is a feature which should be somewhere available to create external IDP users. So this feature seems not to be available with the current IAM portal. In the documentation stated as limited beta feature. What is the process if somebody would like to test this? Do you have here an answer for that?
Yeah. So there is an email alias which is IDP. Yeah, there is an email alias well, I believe the most simple thing is to ask support to get in touch with the IDP with the FortiCloud team because there is an email alias where you can send your IDP, your external IDP details. And and there is a form as well to fill up. But I think the best is to contact support, so that support will give the form to fill up, and the email alias where the information have to be sent, because after that, because it's not a GUI process that you and I can do by ourselves. So after that, the FortiCloud team will be adding your SAML identity server, and they will give you the URL to use for this external IDP access, so that after that, you are defining IDP roles, which are IDP users on the FortiCloud IAM. So on FortiCloud, on Fortinet FortiCloud IAM, maybe you will define role 1. So you add a user that you call role 1. And in your external identity provider, you will create a user group called role 1, so that when you log to this external URL, which was defined before by the FortiCloud team, your SAML assertion contain the IDP role 1, and then you can match external users with some permissions defined on your IAM, on Fortinet IAM. So I don't have it here, but the best, so there is an email alias, but the best thing is to ask support, so that they can send back the form with information to fill, and also the email alias to be using, because it's not part of the official GUI. It's fully supported, but it's not. There is no way for us as a FortiCloud account or as a customer to add it by ourselves. And the two can coexist together. You can still use the old IAM user style, well, the one that we have as of now, and use as well at the same time your your new IDP external SAML IDP users. Are there any more questions? No, that's it. Okay. So I will be sharing my full desktop. So what I'm going to do, I will have two FortiCloud account. Yeah. So I will have yeah. So I will log on 40. So let's say I am the customer. I want to use the sub account so that my partner will manage my asset. So first, I will log as a customer. So this is my customer. It's his email 060. So customer 060. I will open the webmail for this one, because I will have a one-time password sent. Okay. Okay, I have it. So I'm logging as a customer. So as a customer, I have seven assets, and I want to permit access to my assets and services to my partner or my MSSP, so the one doing services for me, paid services for me. So I will go to my account. And from here, I will go to manage users. And so I will be adding the one who can manage my assets. So I did that for this one, but I will be adding one more. So now I will add elvenet@fortinet.com to be able and granted access to be able to manage my assets. So I'm adding a sub-account user. This sub-account user, it's this one, Elvenet, and this one is going to be given some permissions. So here, if I choose full access, this one will have full access to my assets or limit access. And then I could be specifying which product this one can. So I will take whatever. So I will say that this sub-account user, when he's going to log on FortiCloud, is be able to manage my asset and access to my FortiCloud services as well. Okay, save. Yeah, maybe because I why cannot I go any further? Oh yes, a phone number. Okay. Slow. So now, so this is the customer side. The customer was granting access to some of his assets to Elvenet at Fortinet. So now, if I'm logging out from here and logging back as Elvenet at Fortinet, I will have my own assets, but because I was added as a sub-user account from customer 051 or 059, or I forgot which one, then I can switch to his assets. So this time I'm the partner or the MSSP, and I want to manage my customer assets. Okay, I will have a FortiToken. So I'm using my phone to grant, to allow permit the access. So now, as Elvenet at Fortinet.com, I have all the customers. So just three of them. So it's myself, this one, and the ones below, it's all the customers who added me as a sub-account. And then customer number 60 was adding me as a sub-account. So when I select him,
Sorry, a short disruption. Maybe that's the sign that we should make a short break for a coffee break or whatever you need. So I would say I would invite you to make some kind of 5-minute pause, if that's okay for you, until Laurent is online again. So bear me a second. I will just start the timer and let's do a short 5-minute break, if that's okay for you. And we will then meet in 5 minutes. Is that all right? So we managed to have our coffee break. I hope everybody was able to do what he needed. So I will just stop my coffee break and hand it over again to Laurent. So Laurent, you're heartily welcome to enter again in the desktop sharing mode. Huh?
Thank you. So I just unmuting myself. So I believe now you can see my screen. So what I just did before. So customer 060 was adding Elvenet at Fortinet as a sub account. So it means that now when I'm logged as Elvenet, I can manage my customer devices, assets, and services. So here I logged in as Elvenet, as Fortinet, and then now I can switch. So this is my own FortiCloud account, and I can also switch to my customer who granted me access because I was added on their side as a sub account. So since I was added as a sub account, I can switch from my own stuff where I have 2,000 devices to the customer FortiCloud account. So Corp 060 was adding me as a sub account. So now I can select him. And the number of the assets will change and the asset description as well. So now, whatever I'm doing, it's on behalf of customer 060. I was giving access to whatever, whenever we define the sub account, we define a few assets. So it's the assets that I'm seeing now, but I have access to the FortiCloud services. So normally, so if I'm going to FortiGate Cloud, but I'm not sure any of them is indeed up and online. So here, if I'm running FortiGate Cloud, since I was selecting customer 060, it's going to be for customer 060. Yes. So here, customer 060 doesn't have much. It's not. Yeah, because we didn't. So we have no device which are running, so we don't have much. So here it's another sub account which I'm seeing, but it's a so it's a bad example. But then we have seen that with a sub account, I can then once I'm added as a sub account by my customers, then with a single access to FortiCloud, I can switch to every customer who gave me access as a sub account. So here it's a colleague of mine who was adding me as a sub account. And then, so then he didn't give me many products because I have access to nothing. So it was the first way, so that with the sub account, as long as myself, as the partner or the MSSP, I'm added from my customer as a sub account, I have access to FortiCloud, and with my FortiCloud account, I can switch between every customer who was adding me as a sub account. There is another way to do it, which is the IAM users, so which we will try just now. So now we want that. So now customer 060 is going to use the IAM users so as to grant Elvenet to access to his devices. So I will log back as customer 060. Okay, I'm logged out. Yeah, I still have the mailbox of customer 060, so it's good.
Somehow again having connection problems.
Maybe it's just I will reopen. So I will reopen the FortiCloud page. I want so customer 060 is going to use IAM so that it will allow access to his partner or his MSSP. So I will log back as customer 060. Yes, it's working. Okay, I have a new FortiToken, a new MFA. So what I did before was that under my account, I was adding my partner as a sub account, but I don't want, so here it was here. So Elvenet at Fortinet could be accessing to my assets. So now what I'm going to do, but the granularity is not very good. What I want to do is to use IAM. So I will access to IAM. So under services, I have IAM. So I went to this one, users. And now I will add a user so that Elvenet will have its own user under my IAM directory. Okay. So then I can define which asset, but I just have but after it can be edited. So I have no asset folder, so I choose my asset and the permission profile. So I will show you what it's about. So I took the default permission profile. So I just want to get rid of this and create the user, the IAM user. Confirm. Okay, it has been added. So I was adding a new user under my own database of user as customer 60. This one was given a permission profile, so I will be creating a custom one. So so that you can see that we have all the portal. So maybe this one it's to do some to get access to FortiManager Cloud. Well, it is fine, or we select everything, so we have everything. And for each portal, we can define what we can do. So asset management, I could be defining everything. And if well, it's okay. So now under the user which I define, I will change the permission profile so as to widen the permissions. Okay. It's up. I will update. And then I was adding this user, but I need to create a password. Oh man. Okay, so hopefully, since it's a Fortinet user, so normally if it was a plain user, I will have a link to create a password, but we have it later for the organization. So here, since I'm a Fortinet user, so I don't need to do that for safety reason. So now I will now I will use IAM to log to the asset of customer 060 because I have an IAM user which was defined under the FortiCloud account of customer 060. Whenever you log with IAM, you have to specify the account ID. So I need to remember that number, this account ID, but because this is a bit painful to remember such a long number, so under my account, I can define an alias. So if I go to my account IAM version, before we started working, I was defining an account alias. So I would just copy that. So now, if I log out, And the goal is that my partner, Elvenet, has access to my assets. So I was creating for him an IAM user. And now, when Elvenet is going to log to FortiCloud, he's going to use the IAM user, which I was creating for him as customer 060. For the account ID, I have two possibilities. I can use the account ID of customer, and the alias was that one, I think, which I was typing. Then Elvenet and the password. Now my phone, which is here, is asking me for a FortiToken. Okay, I'm approving the FortiToken on my phone. And so now, customer 060 created an IAM user, and this one was granted access to the asset of customer 060. But since it's the first login, I'm asked to verify my email. Okay, so I will check my mailbox, which I closed before. I'm opening my mailbox. I will click on the get verification code because otherwise I won't get much. So on my phone, if it's quicker than opening my mailbox on my laptop. Yeah, registration code. So I got it on my phone. 630300. I will specify. We have some to go through. It's a bit painful. Yes. What is? Okay, more or less. It's the first time. So now, by being logged as an IAM user of customer 060, I was granted access to his assets and some of the services. So this time I can see my username, IAM username, it's still customer 60, and I have the products. So the same, so the products of customer 60, and I didn't select it much, so I have the asset management because I think that in the permission profile I was selecting everything, but I was not giving access. So I just clicked on all, but I didn't go to any of them to modify what I could be doing with it. So it sounds good when you have so if you had just one customer to manage, it would be nice. But the thing is that since we use IAM, if Elvenet had to manage many different customers, it would be super difficult because it would mean that each customer will have to create an IAM user, and myself as the MSSP, I will have to log. So I will log out. I will have to log to each customer with the IAM user that was created by that customer. So maybe it's worth having a look at the organization. Okay, so if I wanted to access to different customers with IAM, it would mean that each customer would have been creating an IAM user for myself, the MSSP, and then I will have to change the account ID or alias and place the username that the customer was creating for me. So it cannot be managed this way. So then comes the organization. I will log to some existing organization. So, for example, I will take one which we created with my colleagues. So before doing anything, we have an overview of some existing organization. So 6, 8, 2. Okay. So now I will look at the first. I will look at the organization, the way it has been built. So I have this organization which I call CMM, Central Management and Monitoring, and I was creating many sub branches. Under the branch demo, I have a few countries, and it's up to me to add a FortiCloud account. So the FortiCloud accounts that I'm adding under the organization, they are used to as a placeholders for the asset. So that one has some asset, some other one. So this one. Each of them has different assets. And then I have two kind of FortiCloud account which I can add to my organization. If you look at under this one, the Swiss one. So if you look at that one, it looks a bit weird. So customer.cost.001 at something. So it's a fake email FortiCloud account that we have been adding. It means that inside your organization, you can add fake email account, which will be used as placeholders, so that the products that you will be adding, they will be stored under that account, but you don't have to go through the hassles of creating FortiCloud account for storing your product. So if you have some new product that you want to register, and if you don't want to place them under some existing customer FortiCloud account, you can create some fake email account so that they will be placed here, and you can distinguish them from the other FortiCloud account. So here under the team, it's all my so here we have all my colleagues, and each of them have different assets. So since we are part of some organization, if I'm going to any of the portals, FortiCloud portals, so first, if I'm going to asset management, for example, I can navigate along the, so here I can navigate along the organization. The IAM user which I used was granted a specific access, not to everything, but just no, it's okay. I was scared that I did some changes before. It's okay. So here I can navigate along the organization, and if, for example, I want to look at all the assets from my colleagues into our small team, I have all the assets of the guys under the branch 002 team. If I want to look at the asset only of my colleague and director Jean-Pierre, so then I'm going to select Jean-Pierre, who is belonging to the branch 002, and it's just the asset of Jean-Pierre. And if I'm then it means that I can manage the asset and register some services under any of the FortiCloud account. So by accessing with an IAM user, which was granted access to a different level of the organization, then I can manage the asset at any level. if I'm if I'm accessing to, for example, FortiManager Cloud, then it's going to present me again the organization tree. Yeah, this time I was landing directly into the one of my, I believe the one of my colleague Jean-Pierre. Yeah. So now, so I was landing into yes, a specific FortiManager Cloud. So the one of my colleague Jean-Pierre, and I could be then selecting a different one. So, for example, if I want to look at the FortiManager Cloud of my own account, or even the one of Kevin. So now I'm selecting my colleague Kevin, and I can switch from one instance of FortiManager to a cloud to a different one. So basically, FortiManager Cloud, it cannot manage, it's not multi-tenancy, it cannot manage multiple administrative domain, but by using the organization mechanism, each of the FortiCloud account, so here, each of the FortiCloud account in the, so here in the organization, they may have a FortiManager Cloud, and I can switch from one FortiManager instance to another one. So then it makes a product such as a service FortiManager Cloud, which was not made, unfortunately, to be multi-tenant, because for some reason, we decided that there won't be any add-on into FortiManager Cloud, but then by having FortiManager Cloud registered to, so if we look at the branch 002, so each of the accounts here has a FortiManager Cloud. So I can switch, let's say that JP for Solid tenant one of FortiManager Cloud. So then I can switch to this FortiManager Cloud. And then by selecting different FortiCloud account, I can land on different instances or tenant of FortiManager Cloud. So there are quite some key differences between FortiManager on-prem and FortiManager Cloud. So if we look at them right now, so yeah. So here I'm logged on one of the FortiManager. So I think I was selecting Jean-Pierre's FortiManager, one of the FortiManager. So first, one of the first key difference is that you have no, as I said, ADOM or administrative domain onto FortiManager Cloud. So there is no way to change from an ADOM which has some specific FortiOS version to a different ADOM with a different FortiOS version. We have just one FortiManager, we have just one root ADOM under FortiManager Cloud. I don't know why it was decided that way. Initially, FortiManager Cloud we had one FortiManager Cloud used by different customers. Hopefully, this went away. So now each customer has its own instance of FortiManager Cloud, but that that restrictions of having one add-on only stayed in place, unfortunately. So maybe someday it will move. One other key difference is that when you, I will switch to another instance because yes, this one is weird because it has ADOM, which shouldn't be the case. So we can, it's whenever a customer is shouting and claiming that he wants ADOM on FortiManager Cloud. So depending on the size of the project, we can have the FortiCloud team, which is deploying a special image of FortiManager, which has ADOM, which is the case for this one. So I will switch to a more usual one. So and I will come back to mine, which is at the top. So I selected my FortiCloud account where I have a FortiManager Cloud instance. Because I was saying to you that we have no ADOM and that one had some ADOM. And then the next difference apart, outside of having no ADOM, it's about adding the devices as well. Okay, so I was adding some disclaimer to play with it. Okay, so in the device manager, okay. So when I'm adding a device, if it's an on-prem FortiManager, we have one more menu, which is Discover Device. So it means that FortiManager on-prem can go and contact the FortiGate device so as to acquire the FortiGate device. And the acquisition process can be initiated from FortiManager on-prem. If we have FortiGate Cloud is not allowed to directly access to the FortiGate devices. It's the FortiGate devices which have to go to FortiGate Cloud. Yes, to FortiManager Cloud, sorry. So here we can add a model device with a serial number of a device. But once this model device is, so I will add whatever. So once this model device has been added, yeah. So here so I added before that model device. Once this one has been added, FortiManager Cloud will wait for the device to come back to him, and it will never initiate connection. The management tunnel is initiated by the device. One more difference as well is that here we have no FortiGuard menu. So FortiManager can be a FortiGuard server so that signatures for AV, IPS, antivirus IPS can be sent by FortiManager, and this is not possible with FortiManager Cloud. So it's one feature missing. So the two and there is no HA, no FortiGuard. So FortiManager Cloud cannot be a FortiGuard distribution server. And then regarding the devices, it can only be contacted by the devices, but it cannot initiate connection to the devices. And the ADOM are not here as well. So it's the main differences. So maybe after that we can have a look at FortiZTP and FortiFelx. So it can be interesting to see how it's behaving in the organization. So we have seen, yes.
We have one question from the audience
Sure.
regarding FortiManager. So do we need one FortiManager per customer? If I want to manage several firewalls of different customers, I need to hop from manager to manager. What about the same as managing every firewall directly, or did you get it wrong?
Yeah, so thank you. It's a very good question. Then, so for FortiManager Cloud, so here, as we have seen, when I was browsing around the organization, so here it's my organization tree, and then I had my branch 002 where all my colleagues are located. So when I'm selecting Jean-Pierre Forcioli, I will access to the FortiManager of Jean-Pierre, and same for Kevin and I. It means that the devices, so this is very important, the devices which are registered under Jean-Pierre FortiCloud account, they can only access to the FortiManager Cloud of Jean-Pierre. And the FortiGate devices which are registered under my account, they can only access to the FortiManager of my FortiCloud account. So if we have multiple customers, normally all those customers, they will have different, so here, like in this 002, it's all my it's all my customers with different FortiCloud accounts. So they will have assets registered on different FortiCloud accounts. So I will have no choice. So the asset for customer one will be managed by the FortiManager Cloud for customer one. The assets for Kevin, which is customer two, will be managed by the FortiManager Cloud instance of customer two. when we look at the at a Fortinet device, a FortiGate device, the FortiGate device, the central management settings, they will just say you are managed by FortiManager Cloud, and it will use automatically the FortiManager Cloud instance associated to the FortiCloud account. So if we go for FortiManager Cloud, each Fortinet asset will be managed only by the FortiManager Cloud belonging to the FortiCloud account. I don't know if it's replying to the question. Yeah. So here it means that I cannot. So here it means I need a FortiManager Cloud subscription. So if I have those 4 accounts under the branch 2, Jean-Pierre, Kevin, Yaya, Yahya, and this one, so I need a FortiManager Cloud subscription for this one, and so on. So each of them who wants to use FortiManager Cloud, they have their own devices, assets under their own FortiCloud account, and we need a FortiManager Cloud subscription for each of them. So there is no inheritance of services, even if we are part of the same organization. If that one has FortiManager Cloud, that subscription is not usable by some FortiCloud account below. We have some inheritance of paid services only for 40 points, so only for FortiFelx and Enterprise Agreement. So in my organization, here, if I look, so if I switch back, I will switch back to the asset management. I will say I will use my root account Elvenet, which created the organization. Under this top root account, I was purchasing the FortiCloud Premium key. So the FortiCloud Premium subscription, it gave me access to this organization feature. So I have to have the organization feature. I need to buy the FortiCloud Premium subscription. If I don't buy it, I can have the organization free feature for free, but I will be limited to inviting only 10 FortiCloud accounts to my organization. So after 10, I have no more possibilities to invite any more FortiCloud account. If I don't buy the FortiCloud key, but if I have an FNDN account, then even with a basic one, I don't know if with a free one it's possible, I need to try, then I can have the organization feature, but it means that so it's not everyone has an FNDN account. So outside of having an FNDN account, I need to pay for this subscription. And then here my account has FortiManager Cloud. So it's only for my account that FortiManager Cloud will be usable. But here I have this, so this ELA VM program prepay and postpay, it's FortiFelx. So under my root account Elvenet, who created the organization, I have FortiFelx. I could have also the enterprise agreement contract, and only for those, it means that my FortiFelx points, they can be used by the members of the organization. So if I switch to FortiFelx, I can create some FortiFelx configuration to consume some 40 points. So here, what I'm going to do for FortiFelx, I will do it for Elvenet. Because I'm positioned on the Elvenet FortiCloud account. So then now, if I'm switching to my colleague Yahya, okay, it's coming. So now it's Yahya is going to use my FortiFelx contract so as to consume FortiFelx points on my contract. But the configuration I see here, it's the one of my colleague Yahya, and then I can create some assets. So here I could be creating some maybe I will create a FortiGate virtual machine service bundle. I will create one asset. I will select this configuration that was created before by my colleague Yaya, and then next. So I'm consuming some FortiFelx point from my main contract, which is inherited down by the FortiCloud account belonging to the organization. And normally for the report, a point usage, it's slow, submit. Why does it normally should move to the next page? Anyway, maybe it's through internet access. So I will switch to the report point. It's a bit so point usage summary. So here, because I selected this account, it's only related to this account. So among the FortiCloud services which are inherited, we just have the licensing things, so FortiFelx and Enterprise Agreement. Everything else, such as FortiGate Cloud and so on, they have to be subscribed and purchased for each FortiCloud account. But here, if I'm switching to some which may be interesting, so FortiGate Cloud. Yeah. So since I'm logged with a user, IAM user which has access to all the organization, I selected FortiGate Cloud, and then I can have a main view. So here I could be selecting all the branch. So FortiGate Cloud Europe for the 002 branch. Okay. It's coming. So here I selected the 002 branch. It means that I will see the FortiCloud accounts belonging to that branch, and I should be seeing all the devices under that branch. So I have 44 devices which are used by 5 FortiCloud accounts under the 002 branch. And among those 44 devices, 44 have no subscription, so it's not ideal. And then, so here I can have the asset list. So here it's a bit messy because I'm back to the full tree here, but here I selected the branch 002. So now I can just click again on 002, and I will have all the devices. So from here, I can have all the devices from one branch, but I cannot run some. So normally I cannot run some script on the branch. So you cannot do much. So FortiGate Cloud, it's made to do one-time actions on the managed FortiGate on specific FortiGate, but you have no templating. So here I should have to select some. So if I'm selecting this FortiCloud account, it's going to be the CLI script from this FortiCloud account. Then it means that I cannot have a CLI script, FortiOS CLI script, which will be run onto multiple FortiCloud accounts and multiple devices. So here there are no scripts which was created. So at some point, whenever you want to take some actions on the device, we will have to select the assets. We will have to select a specific FortiCloud account. So now I can switch to a specific FortiCloud account. And then I can see the assets from that account. So what can be more interesting is that we could be going through FortiZTP, and then we could be licensing a device for a specific account, and getting that one showing up after in FortiGate Cloud and provisioning so that saying that that device will be managed by FortiGate Cloud. So we have our organization, and then so for our organization, I will define a new asset. So here under FortiFelx, I will select my account. I will select the postpaid, so the flex entitlement. So under my account, I will create, so maybe, so if I look at the configuration, I will create a new one, so I don't have to search. So I will create a new FortiGate device. Okay. Okay, it was done. So it's this one. If I look at my asset, it's so I will search for the one which I just created. So there is this license file token. So I will save it aside. Yeah. So now I will so I will look. So we created an asset for this device. If I switch back to the asset management, I should see it now as a new asset on my account. So product, my asset. If I make a filter, yeah, it's here. So now I want that this device, when it will boot up, I want to provision that one to FortiGate Cloud. So I will access, so this device is part of my asset list. I will access to FortiZTP. Again, FortiZTP is supporting the organization. So I want to access to the asset of this Elvenet account. So here, assets. I have the new layout which was enabled. Among the new features in the new layout, outside of the theme of the way it looks, so for the FortiGate, you have a very cool new feature which is pre-run CLI script. And the idea is that you may have some FortiOS CLI scripts which may take care of some IPsec configuration, so that and you have some variables, so that whenever the FortiGate device is onboarded, this CLI script is sent before sending any central management settings. So you could be building up some IPsec tunnel, and the central management settings pushed by FortiZTP could be some on-prem FortiManager, which is needing some IPsec tunnel to be built before. So that's why we just since a few weeks with FortiOS 24.4, which is the version that we have here, we have this pre-run CLI script which was added. So I want to look at this new asset which I created with FortiFelx under my account. So I'm going back to the asset list. For the asset, I'm doing a filter on this new asset. So this new asset was not, as we can see, the status is unprovisioned. So it means that no central management settings were ever specified for this device. So when I click on provision, it will propose me what kind of central management solution I want to assign to that device. So I would say I can have some FortiManager on-prem, which I was filling up the details before. But for me, I will say I will use FortiGate Cloud Europe. And we have something called the permission profile. So fortunately or unfortunately, now with FortiGate Cloud, you have this firmware permission, this firmware profile. So it's not a permission profile, it's a firmware profile. The firmware profile, it's managing what we do with the FortiOS version of the managed devices. When you have two versions of FortiGate Cloud, you have the free version with the subscription, the free. So the free version means that you don't pay any subscription fees. You can still have the FortiGate devices visible on FortiGate Cloud, but you cannot manage them. You have your device showing up on FortiManager Cloud, but since you cannot manage them, you cannot push any settings down to them. And whenever you have the free FortiGate Cloud version, you also have a limited set of reporting. You cannot manage the devices. You have no webhooks automation. And then also, it has been decided that whenever their firmware, FortiOS firmware was outdated, the latest firmware patch will be applied. You have no choice, and it's automatically enforced. If you have the paid version of FortiGate Cloud, you can manage your FortiGate devices fully, and you can decide if you ever make some firmware upgrade or not by defining different firmware profile. So here I will choose FortiGate Cloud Europe. I will provision that. Okay, so now whenever the device will boot up, as soon as the device has internet access, it will contact FortiCTP, and then the device will pop up with its own serial number and say, hey, it's me, serial number 13333. Then let me know what central management settings I have, and FortiCTP will say that central management is made by FortiGate Cloud Europe. So here, if I will switch on some new device. So I'm connected. So I will take a FortiGate device which has never been used. Sorry, dashboard. It's too big. I will make it smaller. So I will take FortiGate. Let's have a look at that one. So admin. Okay, so license is invalid. So what I will do is that I will use the license I was creating before. Yeah. So if we look, so before we had FortiFelx. In FortiFelx, we had some license token, which I pasted not far away. So, okay, one time enough. Yeah. So now for that FortiGate device, I'm adding the license token which we got before from FortiFelx. So when this one will boot up, it will reboot. It will have a serial number, which is that serial number. And it should contact FortiGate Cloud so as to, so here, if before, I will check, so get system. There is no, there is nothing. So I will do a reset first, maybe just to make sure I don't fail. And there's, I will keep the VM license. No, I don't care for the VM license. So I will do, oh yes, I will do factory reset, but I will keep the network settings. Yes, so I will just keep the network settings. So I will boot as a new device. I will keep the network settings not to lose access to the device. And then I will add the license. It's console access, so I should see when the device has finished booting up. So it's some temporary serial number by entering the key. We get the final serial number, so there is no password yet. Fingers. Still my finger. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I will be more careful. Yes, there is no password. So now, okay. So I'm adding the license. Okay, with this one. So if it has internet access, so it needs to get internet access, it will get a license from FortiFelx, and since FortiZTP was set up to use FortiGate Cloud, that license is attached to my elvenet@fortinet.com FortiCloud account. So after that, I should pop up under a new device on FortiGate Cloud for my account. Oh, I failed to download the license. I have it. Yeah, now it's okay. We can see the serial number 51333. So it's that one which is here. So this is correct. Now it's rebooting. I hope that normally FortiZTP should say to my device that central management is FortiGate Cloud Europe. So I will wait for the device to have started. Still the good serial number. Yes, it has started. If I check, if I look at the central management settings in Fortinet, I will even do a show. Oh gosh, there was nothing pushed. Oh yes, because it's so I have a little issue. So FortiZTP, it's used only when we have an SMB device, but the Flex was creating me a configuration which is not an SMB virtual device. So I just need to say that yes. Okay. Okay, that's all. If I check my device. Very connectors. Yeah, so I need to activate, so there were some glitches. So it's taking the right account, but then so Europe. Now it's enabled. So now if I switch back to FortiGate Cloud, so Europe, it's my account. I'll refresh that one. So we have the device now, which is part of FortiGate Cloud. We have a subscription because it was part of the FortiFelx license. And now when I'm selecting my device, I can manage it. So this is fine. And by switching, so there is, by switching, if I was switching to a different FortiCloud account, I would be seeing different assets from different FortiCloud account. And FortiCloud, it's so yeah. So for the management, it's not yes. Yes, so here we have so here we have two flavors of FortiCloud, FortiGate Cloud. We have the normal one and FortiGate Cloud Premium. So here I'm not proposed yet the FortiGate Cloud Premium. I believe because of this, it's automatically proposed here to upgrade whenever all the devices that we manage are matching some requirement. And one of the requirement is to get to have some FortiOS above version 0, but I have that troublemaker here, which I should be removing. So here it's still the normal FortiGate Cloud, and it's not a premium. So I end up by having something weird, because if I move up to, for example, some OU, I will have FortiGate Cloud Premium. So we can see the title here, it's in the URL, it's Premium. And whenever I switch down to some specific FortiCloud account, so it's moving to the normal FortiGate Cloud. So here it's the premium one. So we can see the GUI is different. And if I'm switching to my account, so it's still the old fashion. And I think I'm not proposed to. So it's you get proposed to upgrade to FortiGate Cloud whenever your all your assets are above version 7.0, and I believe that this one it's adding some issue. And settings, yes. And then before we used to have under the management some FortiGate Cloud users, but they were removed. So things are we are trying to push more and more customers to use IAM. And the organization, it's not required because you need multiple FortiCloud accounts. But here we no longer have the FortiCloud users. We don't see them here because FortiGate Cloud is weird because it has its own database of users. And we are trying everyone to use the IAM users and get rid of the FortiGate Cloud users. So under management, normally we have the FortiGate Cloud users, which we don't get to see here. So I can switch down. Yes, question. Yeah.
We have one question regarding firewall firmware upgrades. Can we do firmware upgrade for all firewalls inside one organizational unit?
Yeah, we could do it with so here with the firmware profile. Here we can, since I have a paid subscription, so I can add different firmware profiles. So here I was adding one with whatever settings inside, and after, but here I have just one device, but I could be selecting the assets, and then from here group management, I could be so here I could be assigning a firmware profile and the settings, or I could be upgrade firmware as well. So here it means that I can the group actions which I can run on some selected devices will be running a CLI script, upgrading the firmware, doing some backup. So display time zone, it's not so much interesting. And if I was assigning a firmware profile, it will process what is inside this firmware profile. So here I have, so here if I'm assigning latest patch, then it will proceed with whatever is inside latest patch. So then by selecting, so I just need to select the assets. But here, yes, this one is not ideal. And then with group management, then I could select the task. So yeah, so upgrade firmware, or even better, so assign firmware profile from here. So it's one of the few things we can do, or run a run a CLI script. Yeah, I think this one, which is right, it's a troublemaker because as soon as I select it, so when I select both, it's not ideal because so I just have the default firmware profile, which is not what I want because I have the paid subscription. So here now I get the choice between the two of them. So yes, by selecting the devices, the assets, and right-click on it or clicking on group management, then you can choose the action to be done on multiple devices.
And we have an additional question. Is there a suggested migration process to migrate from sub-accounts to organizational units?
Yeah, yes. So it's a tool to migrate sub-accounts to IAM users, but not much to the organization because yeah, it's only for yeah. So I will log. So if I'm switching, so it's not into FortiCloud, it's into the IAM. So here I'm switching back to IAM. When I use IAM, it means that the users I will play with, they are defined under a FortiCloud account. So even if I'm in the organization now, I will have to select a FortiCloud account. So it means that this IAM user, which I will display now, they belong to this FortiCloud account. And then here I have the migrate sub-users. And then here it will so here it will define IAM users using the email of the sub account which was used for the sub yeah. So it will use the beginning of the email here. So here we have an example. If the beginning of the email is g.smith, it will be the IAM username. And here it will paste first name and last name as a single username. So when I go that way, all the so first to make it maybe more clear. So here I selected that FortiCloud account. Under that FortiCloud account, if I look at my account, I will look at the sub whatever I defined as a sub account. So here, account. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can see them. So it's not so user information. I'm searching for the managed users that we used to have before. I think it looks like I cannot get it from here. So my account. Yeah, I don't have the managed user from here. I don't have all the possibilities. So first, we look at what we have as a sub account under my user, and then I will switch to the organization to show that we can migrate the sub account as new IAM users. So I will log as my FortiCloud account. This FortiCloud account has sub account users. So elvenet@fortinet.com. Or even even better. So before before for the account 060, so for this one, then we look at one-time password. So 060. It was this one. Okay, so this account 060, it has so it has sub account, but I made a mistake. It's not so this one. It's part of a different organization. Well, sorry. I will move back to what I began to do. So my let's take some account belonging to the organization. Okay. So this my Elvenet FortiCloud account has some sub account. So Elvenet. Looking for the approval. Was accepting the FortiToken. Forever for no reason. Okay, I will do it manually. So my goal is to display the sub account and then to migrate them as IAM users.
So Laurent has lost his internet connection. We are just reconnecting. Please stay tuned. We are solving the connectivity issues, and then we are back. Sorry for the disturbances.
Unexpected cut. Yeah. Okay. So the goal was that I wanted to first look at my sub account and then to get them transferred or migrated as IAM users. So I will log again with the FortiCloud account. Open. So it's my account. So I will access to my account and manage users. Okay. So I have 059 this account 059 with a load. So I will keep that in mind. So now I will access. So even if from here I am, so if we look at IAM, I have this migrate sub user. And then if I click on next, I can see, so here I have this 059 user, and that one can be transformed as an IAM user. So if I go this way, okay, it will be created as 059_corp user. I will say it's an organization account. Maybe, so I will give it access to this only with the permission profile. So whatever, CMM workshop. Okay. So now this sub-account user 059_corp has access to my FortiCloud account as an IAM user. It has so here it has to use either use my FortiCloud ID or my FortiCloud alias, which is CMM. So, but I will use the FortiCloud ID. So here, okay. So now, but there is no. Okay, so so it's okay. Then if I'm downloading the IAM user credentials, so I will check what yeah. So here it's just a sum up of the IAM user which I was creating. So nothing super interesting. So now in the IAM user list, I have 059_corp, which is here. And if I'm editing that one, so it still has no password. So I need to go to security credentials. And it's a bit painful. I need to generate a password for this one. So what we did is that we converted the sub-account into an IAM user. It has created an IAM user according to the email beginning of the account. Now I'm creating a password for this one, for this IAM user. Okay, and then we close this. I will log out from this one. I will log out from this one as well. So it's I will keep that ready. Okay. So now if I'm logging in, before with the sub account I was using the real email, so 059. So now this sub account 059_corp and so on has been migrated as an IAM user. So I can specify the account ID of my main FortiCloud account. I was doing a copy and paste before. The user, it's 059_corp, the IAM user. The password, which I was typing by using the specific link to create the credentials. Okay, so I will save that. Here. Okay, so now I get the token code. Maybe it was just slow to get the email arriving. Okay. So now this IAM user, it used to be a FortiCloud sub-account. It has been translated, migrated as an IAM user. I was just giving that one access to a single FortiCloud account, so I can just see this FortiCloud account and nothing more. And so I'm logged as this 059_corp IAM user with just access to some specific to the FortiCloud account with this list of assets. So the way to go is that from IAM, since the IAM user database is linked to a FortiCloud account, we have the migrate sub-user menu, and that one is removing every FortiCloud sub-account that you have in place, so as to translate them into IAM users, and then they are not anymore part of the sub-account. When you look at your FortiCloud account and you look at the sub-account, it has been removed and converted into some IAM user. So it's a way to go from IAM. We can click on migrate sub-users. So if I look at the missing slide, yeah. Or maybe I can show as we look at the missing slide. So I will share the slide. So share. So we have seen for TZTP, which is provisioning. So it's going to send provisioning settings to FortiAP, FortiSwitch, and FortiGate, but only the ones which are seen as SMB devices. So even with virtual FortiGate, depending on what kind of device you create, and from FortiFelx, it's not going to be seen as SMB devices. That's why I had to force the settings to be managed by FortiGuard. So it's a multi-tenant because from FortiCTP you can browse around the organization, and then you can regarding what you provision to the devices. So for the FortiGate, the FortiAP, and FortiSwitch. And FortiExtender too, I always forget about them. So then you can see it's going to be managed by FortiManager Cloud, FortiGate Cloud, and since it doesn't apply to FortiAP and FortiSwitch, you can specify FortiLAN Cloud, which is the cloud portal for managing FortiAP and FortiSwitch, and same for FortiExtender Cloud. So when we look at FortiGate Cloud versus FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer, so FortiGate Cloud, it's just a we just contain some subset of both FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer. So just something useful to know, but it's a number which dates back to last year, but there was one about 6 months ago, about 1.5 million of devices, FortiGate devices managed by FortiGate Cloud. So it's quite a lot, even if it's not so much noisy. And so FortiGate Cloud can manage FortiGate, FortiAP, FortiSwitches, and FortiExtender too. Yes, and it's hosted in Japan, so in Europe, Asia, and North America. So it's simple, secure, and scalable, because since you can deploy as many devices as you wish. And since it's supporting the organization and you can switch along the FortiCloud account, then you can have access to different assets owned by different FortiCloud account. So it's and then with FortiManager, so this one will bring a single pane of glass. So FortiManager is more advanced because with FortiManager, you have the main difference is that FortiManager has plenty of templates, which enables you to automate many settings to be pushed. And FortiManager is an open world to many connectors to outside world. Then you can get many objects imported from outside world with the connectors, and nothing of that is existing with FortiGate Cloud. So it goes much much further. So for FortiManager Cloud, and then so FortiManager is existing as virtual physical device, and when we move to FortiManager Cloud, we have seen that it was more limited. Because we have no real restrictions regarding number of managed devices, so it can go up to 10,000 devices, but it has no way to be an FNDN server for the signatures, and there is no ADOM, and it's up to the managed devices to contact FortiManager Cloud, and the opposite is not possible. So the way to position between FortiGate Cloud and FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer, we have to see FortiGate Cloud as a simple device, as a simple management solution, because you cannot automate anything, and you cannot with FortiGate Cloud, you cannot have some bulky settings pushed to all the managed FortiGate. It's one by one, unless you push CLI and so some CLI script or some global firmware update. But it's the only thing you can push globally. And with FortiGate Cloud, there are no variables. So FortiGate Cloud is ideal if you wish that your customers are getting access to some of their device, and they don't need to push some massive automated settings. So they don't need to push the same policy packages with the same rules, or you don't need to push system settings or SD-WAN settings. It's one by one change that you make with FortiGate Cloud. So for some use case, it's perfect, but FortiManager Cloud will be better if you wish to push the same global settings to plenty of managed FortiGate. So they have two different use cases. And that's why on the bin market, so it's about defining what you need to do. On FortiGate Cloud, you have no variables, whereas you have metadata variables on FortiManager, so that you can all your templates, SD-WAN template, IPsec template, certificate template, they can use the variables so as to send dynamic settings to the remote managed devices. Regarding the FortiGate management, then you have a huge choice of central management solution between the FortiGate Cloud, FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer on-prem, or the cloud version of FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer. And then if we look at the differences between FortiGate Cloud and FortiManager, the main difference and the main lack of FortiGate Cloud is that there is no template, no central policy packages, what we see with the no in red. The licensing, so it's a different licensing because so FortiGate Cloud, you pay the license for each FortiGate. So for each FortiGate, you will pay the subscription for FortiGate Cloud. For FortiManager, you pay on FortiManager the number of devices you will manage, and for FAS it's the same as well. So here it's the number of managed devices on FortiManager which you pay, whereas on FortiGate Cloud it's for each FortiGate. So it's the main difference about the lack of templates and global settings that you will be pushing. And when you have the free FortiGate Cloud, you don't do much, so it's pretty much useless to my mind, since you will just have read-only settings, access to the settings on your devices when you go for the zero-cost subscription on FortiGate Cloud. So FortiGate Cloud with zero cost, you just can read access to your devices. You have just 7 days of log retention, and you have a few 360-degree activity report, but not multiple predefined reports on that you get on the paid subscription, and no event automation, so no webhook on the free subscription. So you don't do much, and you cannot manage the firmware upgrade. You just have this default firmware profile that is enforced by default and which you cannot escape from. So among the new things of FortiCloud, so with the latest update, so you have no real way to escape from the MFA. So we have seen everything I was doing was having the MFA. But the improvement is that it's very recent. Now initially it was just email, MFA as email, and now we can enable SMS two-factor authentication as long as we fill up the phone number on the contact page of the FortiCloud account.
You lost your voice again.
Okay, thank you. I don't know. I still have internet access.
That's okay.
It's okay. Okay, thank you. Because internet, yeah. And so two new MFA mechanisms were added: SMS as long as you add your phone number, and FortiToken for free. So here it's a screenshot of the additional two-factor with FortiToken and SMS, but it's one of the other, so you cannot have any fallback. If you select SMS, it's only SMS. Same for email or FortiToken. You cannot combine different fallback MFA mechanism. And then it's the email where you will get sent the MFA. And something, a nice improvement, the API user, the IAM API user, they were just made to do API call on a local FortiCloud account, so you couldn't have an API user which could make API calls to different FortiCloud account on your organization. Now the API user can be either local as before, which was very limited, or it can manage, it can reach some FortiCloud account into the whole organization. We don't have so many API requests for FortiCloud. Still, even if the API user now can be an organization user, you cannot do much because so regarding the organization, you have some new API calls, but you can just create OU branches and list what's inside, but you cannot remove content from the OUs, but the FNDN is listing the little new things which you can do. So the cool thing is that you can play with the organizations for free with any FortiCloud account, as long as you don't add more than 10 FortiCloud account inside. And if you have an FNDN account, even the basic one can now enable the full organization feature. Yeah, it's some screenshots. So here it's a screenshot of the FNDN, but it doesn't contain much as we can see. So it's to play with the organization tree. We can create new branches, OU branches in the tree, and we can list what is inside, but we cannot do much more than that. So it's limited. But the good thing about having the API IAM user, which is now an organization API user, it means that if you do some if you access to the FortiCare to your asset management, you could be listing all the assets of your organization, or with FortiZTP, a single API IAM user could be doing FortiCTP changes on different FortiCloud account. So this is cool for this. But regarding playing with the organization structure, you don't do much yet with the API user. The very cool thing for FortiCTP is that now we have this pre-run CLI script, and it's an MSSP customer who was asking us to first initiate an IPsec tunnel so that the FortiGate, they can be managed by some on-prem FortiManager, which is protected by some IPsec tunnel. So first, the pre-run CLI script would be sent to the FortiGate devices, and after that, it will mount the IPsec tunnel so that then the provisioning central management settings will be using the IPsec tunnel. So the screenshots we have seen before. Oh, yes, here it's the firmware profile, the one which may be seen as something not so challenging. So this so the firmware profile will enforce what will happen with the FortiOS version of the devices managed by FortiGate Cloud, and with the free FortiGate Cloud. Is going to enforce the default firmware profile for any devices under the free subscription, and you cannot escape from this. Between the premium portal is for free, but you can enable it only when you have devices above version 7.0 for FortiOS, and it has more reports, and you have the web automation with webhook coming from FortiAnalyzer. And something you can transfer a FortiGate device from one FortiGate Cloud account to another one. It's something new. Before it was more difficult to do. So here we have the firmware profile with different settings from different devices. It's when we have the paid version of FortiGate Cloud. And if we edit, so it's the latest one, we cannot do much into the latest one. We can just define the time where it will update the firmware to the latest patch. And it's going to be enforced for any paid, any free subscription. And it's the one which is the paid one where you enforce whatever settings. You could even say no firmware update at all for this one. So you could disable the firmware update. So this remote access, it means that, so remote access, you get access to the device directly with some kind of reverse proxy rewriting. But now, whatever you do from FortiGate Cloud, it's changes, I mean, is going to be automatically pushed, and the GUI, the FortiOS GUI changes will be automatically seen with this inside FortiGate Cloud. And here it's an example of the remote access, which was possible before. It's rewriting the URL with a reverse proxy mechanism through the management tunnel. And here, so with the new GUI, we have all the FortiOS menu, and everything is made straight away as soon as you make a change. It's done on the device. And then so it's for WAF. We have some log view security. So we have the log view security for the when WAF is enabled on the FortiGate. And then so if you were having FortiGate Cloud users, they have been removed from the new FortiGate Cloud, so you don't see them anymore. You have to go with IAM. Yeah, it's the web application profile log view, which was not part of FortiGate Cloud, which was not visible. And this account, so these accounts here, they were removed from FortiGate Cloud. So I was searching for them before, it was not there anymore. And now I have to use IAM users, the new look and feel. Yeah, nothing. So it's nice the way it looks with some teams. Yeah. And under the premium one only, you have two new widgets, one which is doing a speed test and one which is showing some underlay monitor for SD1. And this is the webhook only for the paid subscription under the premium FortiCloud. So premium as long as you upgrade to premium, because your devices are above version FortiOS version 7.0. And some example of a screenshot of the event handler to take actions whenever some log was detected. And we have some audit log activities to see what each one was doing, each admin was doing. And then it's easier to transfer a FortiGate from one account to another account. This one was difficult. It's more flexible than before. Yeah, here we are transferring a FortiGate managed by a FortiCloud account to another FortiCloud account, and it's going to do the data migration. Before it was all manual things to do.
So if there are no further questions via the FA and frequent asked questions, I would say thank you very much for your time and your interest. As a reminder, we will send you an email with the presentation, so you can download that from via the link. And also the session is recorded, so if somebody would like to share this information with colleagues, we will also share the recording with you. So if you have any question now, please feel free just to take the opportunity. Otherwise, at 5 o'clock, we would close this online session. Doesn't look like. So I would say many thanks to Laurent for your explanations, your time. And looking forward to you to join you again in maybe one of our upcoming morning sessions. Stay tuned, have a look on our newsletters or in our event on our BOLL homepage. And thank you very much that you joined us.